This is Cammie Guildner, and this is week 2 of Your Best Year Ever. Last week, we explored having a great year, what it really means to you to have a great year. We looked at the 8 key areas of your life, and you each chose an area of your life that you wanted to focus on and make a decision on. And we played in the pain and pleasure principles and started to think about what kind of actions you might take in order to move this into reality in your life. And so I'm going to open the lines again, and would love to hear from you. Basically, hear what kind of actions you might have taken this week. If you noticed anything new during the week. So I would love to hear from some of you. Hopefully I've got you all unmuted now. And you may have to unmute yourself on your end if you've been able to mute yourself. So who would like to share?
Cammie, this is Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Okay. So as far as the actual homework, this is going to be hard, huh?
Let me mute me. Try it again.
Test. Echo.
Wow.
Bad.
Okay, I guess what I'm going to ask you guys to do, I don't know why it's different this week, what I'm going to ask you to do is keep yourself muted until I just muted everybody down. And what I'm going to ask you to do is have you raise your hand, and then I'll unmute you. And Debbie, you are now unmuted, so go ahead.
Okay, and maybe it's making a difference because I'm talking through my phone and not my computer. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine now.
Perfect. Okay, so as far as the actual homework, I think I will say first and foremost that I think I'm struggling as far as actually like having homework and then actually taking action steps to do it. But these talks and these exercises have been really good for me, and the one positive thing I was able to take away is that it really opens up opens up a flood for me. And I actually am in the midst of unpacking. I found a picture of kind of like a waterfall, so it kind of goes back to last week what I was saying for myself as far as breaking down the dam and letting the fresh water in to come up with new ideas. And so it's kind of helped me to have a visual as well as throughout the week I've got little nuggets that kind of have passed through me, and I'm like, ooh, that's really good. Let me go ahead and write that down to help me write my vision statement and to come up with my action plan. So I feel like I'm just on the edge of getting to a point where I'm really going to make some huge changes. But I'm not there yet, so it's frustrating, and I'm having to learn to surrender to that so that I can work through the process of getting to that point, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely does, and you start asking yourself these questions, and it starts the momentum going, it starts the motion happening, and sometimes it takes a little push like that. So it totally makes sense that it's starting to move, and but be patient with it.
Yeah. So as far as what I was going to work on was working on changing for my career and trying to figure out what do I want to be when I grow up and where can I be happiest. And so hearing all the women last week talk about all of their goals and things that they're going to work on and things that they have worked on, and a lot of the key words that they said have really resonated with me. So, I mean, I jotted down throughout the week that I wanted to be able to dance in my strengths, and I want to collaborate with a team. I want to have healthy conflict. I want to be in a place where I want to be at a company that provides a safe place to share ideas and bounce ideas off of. And so I've taken a lot of little things that everyone has said and taken those little pieces and said, ha, that really resonates with me here, and gone forward with it.
So your action was kind of picking and choosing what resonated with you and building that into part of your journey, right?
Yes, and also trying to shift careers and get to a happy place where I'm being amazing and creating value and getting paid for it.
Okay. And we're going to talk a lot about today. We're going to be talking about how you move into action around this. So this will be very pertinent. So
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing. Okay. Who else would like to share? You can raise your hand with a little. There's a little hand that should raise up for you. I see Mary Wolf has. You unmute you, Molly. Okay. Hi, Molly. You're unmuted. What actions did you take this week? Are you there? I don't hear you, Molly.
Can you hear me, Cami?
Yes, this is Molly. Marion?
Sorry, it's Molly. Can you hear me?
It's Molly. I can hear you fine now. Go ahead.
Okay. I got online and I did some research with part-time jobs in the nonprofit sector. And then the other thing is, wow, so much has, like, watch out what you wish for. I also, it's been awesome. I went for an informational interview and they had me fill out an application on the spot and said, you are the person we're looking for. We don't have an opening. Let's try to get you in here and then you can work your way, then move up. So it was like
totally awesome.
It was awesome. It was amazing. Yeah. And I wasn't on the call last week, but I did listen to it. I did the homework and listened to everyone and was inspired by everyone sharing and not feeling so alone. So it was great.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you said. You put it out there, and what happens? It's the floodgates start to open. As things start to move the moment you put it out there, the moment you start asking the questions. So be really proud of all of yourselves as that. Thank you so much, Molly. Marion, you're muted. Unmuted. Oops, I think you might be muted on your end. You're self-muted.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me now? Great.
I can, yes.
Okay, so my decision, conscious decision, was to open my heart to the man that I will share my life with. And I mean, it's a big thing to, it's a big statement to make. But what I started to realize is I recreated this over the week because it started out a little bit differently. But what I've started to realize is I am standing in my own way because I am resistant. And so it's hard to let go of resistance.
Yes.
I did
and we're going
do
to
some
talk
action
about that
things.
Today.
Oh, good.
We will talk about what gets in our way, what makes it sticky for us, and how do you move through that resistance. And that's very often what happens is, we catch ourselves getting in our own way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So were there steps that you took this week, any actions you took when you started thinking about this?
And that's when I started to see the resistance. Because the action that I took was I actually had a happy hour kind of date with another couple, and I did not pay any attention to this guy when we were together. And I paid all my attention to the other couple, and I realized it, like halfway through our happy hour, and then I don't know, at that point I just was like, well. And then he walked me home, and I just scattered. I was like, okay, thanks, bye. So I just have a bit of a wall up.
Okay. And so your action, though, was you actually went out on a happy hour date. So that's a good thing. So today what we are going to start talking about is we're going to start talking about the, this last week we were talking about the what we wanted, the why we wanted. Now we're going to start moving into the how. And so thanks for sharing that, Marion. I'm going to mute you back down, and we're going to start talking about the how part of this. You determine what you want. You made a conscious decision. You put it into writing. You connected with the why you want it, and you've gotten committed building the desire around it. Also, you're starting to notice a little bit of stickiness that might be there, that might be showing up. Some of you, the floodgates may be opening and new things may be happening, and other of you may be catching yourself into the stickiness of it all. And that's all normal. It's all totally normal. So the how today is we're going to identify the how you can achieve it and how you take action around it. What you say and what you think around the how, around your actions of what you want to create. What stories are you telling yourself? Something to start exploring. And what we're going to focus on today is how to take positive action, what you do, how do you develop your supporting thoughts. And this is a big piece, the supporting thoughts that keep you moving, that move you through that stickiness that you might be running into. And then how do you set some effective goals around that? And where we're going to start today is in the first part of this is in the beliefs on what you think. And this is going to be a really interesting thing for each of you to be digging into. What are your beliefs around that decision that you made this last week? If you can conceive something in your mind and believe it to be true, then you can achieve it. So as you were all talking about, there's a little bit, you're seeing these, as you start to move into action here, you're starting to feel different things within your body, starting to feel some different resistances, some different things opening up, some more questions even are showing up, and all of that's normal. But what I want to help you start doing is to really hone in on your mind about what you would like to make happen. I love to tell this story about Walt Disney. And he was actually on his deathbed when he, and the Epcot Center was not launched yet. It was open. And his friend said to him, who was with him, he said, "I'm so sorry you're not going to get to see the Epcot Center come to fruition." And Walt Disney looked at his friend and he said, "You know what?" He says, "I know exactly what the Epcot Center is going to look like. I have looked at it every day for the last 15 years in my mind." So he was the master of being able to envision what he wanted to create. And he was the master of being able to just visualize what it was going to look like. And so thus 15 years when he was laying there, he knew what it was going to look like. He knew exactly what it was going to look like. On any given day, you have an average, we all have an average of 60,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot of thoughts, 60,000 thoughts a day. But here's the scary thing. 95% of those thoughts are the same thoughts you had as yesterday. And so what I'm going to start to ask you to do is to shake it up a little bit, to start thinking about what you want to create, what you want to manifest, painting and envisioning something that's really powerful around your area that you want to make changes in. And I want you to tell someone about it. This week, I want you to tell people who you come across, this is what I'm starting to do. I'm starting to think about this. I'm starting to move into, I want a new career. I want to open up myself to love in my life. I want to make whatever kind of change it is in your life that you want to make happen. I want you to start thinking about that, and I want you to tell somebody about it. And I want you to, so what we're going to do right now is I want you to reconnect to the beliefs that you made last week. So whatever that belief was, just take a moment on that. And what beliefs do you have around that decision that you made? Do you believe you will fully live into that decision? Do you think about your beliefs? Your beliefs determine your life you have. If you don't like the results in your life, take a look at changing those beliefs that you're producing those results. So this first exercise is, I want you to take that area in your life that you're working on, and I want you to write down all the beliefs you have that support you in this area. And I'm talking about beliefs that are supporting you, not beliefs that are tearing you down. So let me give you a couple examples. I believe that I am doing the work I'm supposed to be doing in this world. That is one of my beliefs. I believe this is what I'm supposed to be getting out into the world. That is a belief around my career, around my work, that I tell myself on a very regular basis. This is the work I'm supposed to be doing. So I want you to think about your area that you're working on for yourself, and what are some of the supporting beliefs that are, so for example, if it's around relationships, I deserve love in my life. I am an excellent partner. If it's around your career, start bringing some of the supporting beliefs that you have about yourself around your career. I'm really good at these sorts of things, and I can gift this sort of skill set to a company. So put it into that kind of language. So I'm going to give you just a minute or so, and I want you to write down as many empowering beliefs as you can about yourself and your area that you're focusing in on. I'm going to open up the lines in case you have any questions. Any questions? I'm going to mute you all back down. Raise your hand if you have a question. So I'll give you just a minute. Debbie, you have a question?
Oh, I thought we were going to go and give our 2 cents.
Oh, yeah. I would love to hear it. Go ahead. Hold on just a moment before we do.
Okay.
What I want you to do then is circle your 1 to 2 most empowering beliefs. How do these beliefs empower you, and how do they strengthen your life? Just kind of think about that for a moment. So, Debbie, what were some of your empowering beliefs that you wrote out since you had your hand raised?
The one thing that I started to write things down, and I was saying, I deserve this, I deserve that, but then all of a sudden I wrote down, I am worth a big paycheck. And nice. I think I've never allowed myself to actually believe that I am worth it.
Awesome.
And I think that can kind of translate across every single one of these things. So I wanted to share. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you. I'd love to hear some others. Just raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Noelle? I think you're muted on your end, Noelle.
Is that better?
Yep, that did it.
Okay, excellent. Sorry about that.
Right.
Two of the things, I was working with my Buena Vista team this weekend and establishing new relationships down there. And then before I left, I had some really great webcasts. And my new team in Michigan and in Buena Vista just said, you're delivering the right information to the right people. And it was so nice to hear that, because the people on the other end of the line were so open and receptive of my presentations and all the health benefits and information, so that was good. And then it just really validated that I can greatly support my team no matter where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So
the fact that you're gifting yourself out to your team members, you're empowering your team members, and it doesn't matter where they're at.
Exactly.
That you're able to empower them.
Right.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Who else? Just raise your hand. Molly? Hope you got to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
There you go. Yes. Go ahead. Whoops. There you go. Should be unmuted now.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I wrote that I have excellent interpersonal and communication skills. But what was interesting for me is I haven't interviewed for about 10 years. I've been staying at home. And I'm finding I'm a very different person than I was. I was hanging on to these old beliefs of what I had to offer from 10 years ago. And in going through this process and this list, I'm able to see that I've grown a lot and have actually acquired quite a few skills and confidence here on the other end. So that's been really, it's just been life-changing, really.
That's awesome. So you're starting to recognize what you're bringing out into the world and things that you wouldn't have claimed before, perhaps.
Exactly. And or perhaps didn't give value to it or see it now as a strength because my confidence is changing.
And so you said it was around communication? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yep.
I just want you to own that. I want you to totally own what that is.
Yes, excellent interpersonal and communication skills. I love connecting with people, and I've become very clear on that.
Nice. And there's all kinds of ways you can shape that, right? You can take that gift of that strong communication, interpersonal relationships, and you can apply that in all sorts of ways and outside of the box from what you might have thought of in the past.
Exactly.
Good. Okay. I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to try to unmute everybody who is not on phone. And see, well, that doesn't work. Well, we're just going to have to leave it that way. I think this is working. So the next part of this exercise is I want you to think about your limiting beliefs. This is going back to, you were just talking about some great empowering beliefs. Now I want you to think about what limiting beliefs are you telling yourself. And this may be showing up for some of you. Some of the things that that are not really empowering you, I want you to write down as many limiting beliefs. So if I take it back to, I'll just give you an example. If I take it back to my health and my wellness side of things, I could say, you know what, I'm 50 plus years old and I just am going to carry more pounds than I carried when I was younger. I could say that. So that's a limiting belief. So I want you to just write down any limiting beliefs you might be holding for yourself tied to this area that you're working on. So I'm going to give you another minute or so. And raise a hand if you have any questions. And I want you to circle the 1 to 2 most limiting beliefs that you've got about yourself. And I want you to think about the consequences of those beliefs and what the impact they're having on your life. Feel the pain and how they're keeping you from having a life you really love and achieving what you want in the world. What will it ultimately cost you if you don't change this belief? How is this belief totally ridiculous? I'm guessing some of those limiting beliefs are totally ridiculous. And is the person you learn this belief from worth modeling in this area? An interesting question to think about. And do they have the kind of life you want? So I would love to hear from some of you. Raise your hand, share what limiting belief you have, and if any of those questions I just asked brought any, if it resonated with you. Marianne, I've unmuted you, but you need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi.
Hi.
So I think this is funny, so I want to share it. I put down that I have lost my mojo as one of my limiting beliefs.
Yeah. That's totally a limiting belief. So, and what I'm going to have everybody doing with this is how do you flip that? So what could you rewrite around that changes that into an empowering belief? Because you haven't lost your mojo, girl. I know that.
Thank you. So how can I flip that?
Yeah, how would you say that in an empowering sort of way?
Ooh, I might need some help.
Well, what about, you do have your mojo. You are a sexy, hot woman. You know, all those sorts of things.
Okay.
Owning it, right?
All right.
Okay?
Writing it down right now.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Who else would like to share? Just raise your hand. Molly, I've unmuted you. Just unmute yourself. And you guys can just leave your unmute off on your end because I'm just unmuting you all down. Go ahead.
Mine is I'll never earn a big paycheck.
Okay. So how do you flip that into an empowering?
I'm worth making, my skills are worth a lot of money.
Yes.
I'm worth a big paycheck.
Yes. Yes. So what I'm going to have all of you do is just take a moment and those 1 to 2 most limiting beliefs that you wrote down, I want you to flip them just like Molly and Marion just did. Give you a minute to do that. I want you to decide that you're just no longer willing to have the consequences that this belief is causing in your life. Because I can promise you, these self-stories that we tell ourselves stop us. They keep us from moving forward. So write those replacement beliefs. And something I want you to think about as you're writing those out, who's already successful in this area, and what do they believe differently than what you believe that's helping them to succeed? Something to ponder on. What is necessary to believe in order to succeed? What do you have to totally believe in yourself? Our beliefs have the potential to create or destroy, and they can tremendously empower or severely limit you. The good news is you get to choose. You get to choose the beliefs that you're going to breathe life into every single day. You can change the beliefs you currently have that don't support you. You just need to make that shift. So if you catch yourself in those 60,000 thoughts that you're telling that are going through your head every day, if you catch yourself telling yourself limiting beliefs, I want you to stop, and I want you to just flip that, to change it into something that's positive, that's empowering, and I want you to start owning it from that perspective. I would love to hear from some of you on, do you agree with this? What are some of the ways to develop supportive beliefs? I would love to hear what some of you do. Just raise your hand. Noelle, I'm going to unmute you because I know you do some awesome things. So you're unmuted on my end. Unmute yourself. I would love to hear what you do.
I knew you'd call on me.
Yes.
Oh dear, how do I unself-sabotage? Let's see. I get on the treadmill, I climb mountains, I cuddle with my kids, I read awesome books, I connect with girlfriends in the small moments that we have, I horseback ride, and then I just surround myself always with the right choices of people, and it's always finding those people that will, as I lift them up, they lift me up too.
Yes, and some of the things that kind of stood out for me when you were going through those is that action, that movement. Anytime we're doing something physically and actively with our bodies, we're shifting that. We're shifting those limiting stories. If we're empowering ourselves with these physical ways of moving and creating in our lives, our beliefs come right along with us. So thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Who else would like to share what they do? Sarah, we haven't heard from you. Can I unmute you?
Yeah, that's so funny. I was just about to jump in. I was thinking, and I always think, oh gosh, you're going to do this and then you're never going to get back out of bed. But honestly, sometimes I just think a really good night's sleep. You know, when you're so down on yourself and you're so bogged in the space. And sometimes I find it's almost like just etch a sketch to the day, right? Just shake it out, go sleep for 9 hours, and I often discover that there's a very different mental headspace. And also sometimes I think there's only so much fighting against it you can do. So sometimes it's just having faith that, all right, you're in that negative space today, just cut yourself some slack, go for a walk, get a good night's sleep. You are not a negative person. You are not always going to be there. So maybe just step around it for a while.
Right. Exactly, and let it go, and then wake up the next day with a fresh attitude and a fresh way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. How about you, Debbie? You got your hand up.
I had to throw my hand up because I loved how she said etch a sketch a day. How to etch a sketch today. I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go buy an etch sketch because I got rid of mine years ago, and go and set it somewhere strategically next to my bed. That way it's kind of a visual reminder.
Yeah. Isn't it great when we can have a visual reminder to kind of just help us kind of replug in and say, let's be positive today.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you, Sarah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep going. Thanks, Debbie, for doing that. I'm going to keep popping through here. So really, is the thing I want you to think about is see your world through a different lens. And if you see your world through a different lens, through that positive lens, through an empowering lens, and start owning those other things, they're gonna go away, because the empowering lens, the empowering thoughts and beliefs are much stronger than those limiting beliefs. If you start just telling yourself those strong beliefs on a regular basis, those limiting beliefs will go away. We're going to start to move into step 2 of this on the how part of the how piece that we're working on today is really starting to think about goals. And I believe that a person can't reach his or her full potential without setting and working towards goals. And I'm not saying you have to attain your goals. What I'm saying is that you have to set goals out. So we're naturally driven to be able to push ourselves forward, to have goals that moves us, that engages our souls. So this is something to be thinking about. I love to share a a study that was done at the Harvard Business School where they took a percentage of graduating class, and there was one class that 3% of them had written goals, 13% had goals but nothing written, and 84% of the rest of that class, which astounds me, of a Harvard Business School graduating class, did not have any goals at all. And what's really fascinating is that 10 years later they did a study of this group, and the 13%, this 13% here, who had goals but they weren't written down, were earning on average twice as much as those without goals. And then the small little 3% right here was who had clearly written goals. They were earning on average 10 times as much as the other 97%. So there's huge power around writing your goals out. And I'm going to walk you through several quick little rules around if you're writing goals. What are really powerful goals, and how do you write powerful goals? One is that they're bold and far-reaching. This is not, I want you guys to get big. I want you to think, what does my goals look like from a bold and far-reaching goal? And so I love this quote, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. Powerful goals are heartfelt. Success isn't a result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire. What moves you? What feeds you when you're thinking about writing these goals? And powerful goals are unconditionally positive. The positive thinker sees the invincible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. Powerful goals are written as if they are happening today. Again, it's as if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And goals are dreams with deadlines. They're written with a deadline in mind. So, what I want you to do, hold on, I lost my panel. So with that in mind, I want you to set a goal that relates to that key area of your life. I want you to write it down, and I want you to think about, is it powerful, is it bold and far-reaching, is it written as if it's happening now, is it written with a deadline in mind? So think about, just tap into your area that you're working on, and I want you to write a goal for yourself, big and far-reaching, bold. And give you a moment to do that, and as soon as you're ready, raise your hand, and I would love to hear from several of you, especially some of those ones we haven't heard from. Although I'd love to hear from as many as we can, even if we have heard from you. So just raise your hand as soon as you get yours done so that we can start going through them. Okay, Marion, let's hear yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just made this present tense, which I think was the problem that I had. So my conscious decision was that I am opening my heart to the man that I will share my life with. He will equally contribute to my life as I do his life. The relationship has an ease about it, and we are relaxed and comforted in each other's space. We welcome and include our families in a larger circle of our relationship. He is a big supporter of my desires, dreams, and passions as I am with his. We share our spirituality and friendship naturally. There is love, laughter, and mutual respect.
Oh, that's lovely. That's totally lovely. What's the timeline on that?
Now.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I hadn't thought about a timeline.
Okay.
I just realized when I had written this originally, I had it in, you know, everything was I will open my heart up, and I will, you know, I think it needs to be more now.
Okay. Yeah, and I think opening your heart is a huge, you know, it's a wonderful goal. I'm opening my heart to this. That's the first step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Who else? Debbie, go ahead.
Oh my goodness, I'm so scared to say this out loud now. Okay, this is what I wrote. I am loving my career where I make a powerful impact on my community and make $100,000 a year in 2019.
So how does that feel to own?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable and amazing, and it's something that I'm so glad that I wrote it right now. I'm not even going to say about the past. I'm so glad I've written it down today.
Yeah, yeah. It's what moves you. It starts it. It totally opens your door.
Yep.
So
thank you.
Awesome job. Thank you. Can we get one more? Okay, Molly, you're unmuted on my end. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay. Mine is I am loving my career where I am valued and using my skills working with the elderly, making $100,000 a year.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. How's that feel?
Exciting.
Good. And then that's it. It puts some excitement and enthusiasm into us, and that's what moves us, what starts it, right?
Yes.
So good job. Good job.
Okay.
So as you've written these out, the next thing we're going to do is start taking action around this. And I want you to think about within a day, what kind of action can you take? What steps can you take? Within a week, what steps will you take? Within a month or 3 months, what steps are you going to be taking? And within 1 year, where will you be? So take a quick moment and write those questions, the responses to those down. And some of the things I find really useful and helpful is to find a way to keep your goals in front of you on a regular basis. Put them out someplace where you see them on a regular basis. Write them down. Write, as we've talked about, look at it every single week and think, am I taking steps and actions to bring this to fruition? So whether you look at it on a Sunday night or on a Monday morning, schedule time for focus on this on your calendar on a weekly basis. And consider, what do you need to get rid of to make more time for yourself that you can focus on this? Sometimes we have to let go of things in order to open up the door to make space for what we want to create in our life. And what choices do you need to make? Ask yourself, what choices? Are there choices you need to be making differently today than what you were doing before? I would love to hear if there's anybody has any other things that works really well for them as far as how do you stay on track? How do you, for example, I'll share one of the things I do. I have an accountability partner. And I meet with my accountability partner on a week-to-week basis, and it makes a difference on the weeks that I don't meet with him and the weeks that I do meet with him. So what else can you do that helps keep you on track? Is there any success stories that anybody would like to share? I don't see any hands popping up. Carol, can I call on you? I've unmuted your line. You'll need to unmute yourself on your end. There you go.
I'm unmuted. I feel a little, I don't know, modest here because I can't come up with any bold and far-reaching goals. I have lots of little goals. And one of the goals that's been affecting my life and how I feel about myself is I don't stick with an exercise program. And I'll do it, you know, if I'm do 3 days in a row, it's pretty lucky. And, you know, I always let work, I've got to get to work, I get other things. I'm really great at excuses. And so I'm struggling here and saying, okay, if I try to say this is something that's very important to me, I'd really like to change, you know, get on to exercise the rest of my life, especially getting older, I just don't stay committed, and I just don't know what to do about it.
Can you find a time on your calendar where you actually block it into your calendar and you write it into your calendar?
It's more of a time of day issue with me that I seem to come home too tired, and in the morning, you know, I have to get to work early or something. You know, I always find something else to distract me.
What if you were to look on a Sunday night and say, okay, I'm going to pick out however many times this week, and I'm actually going to write it into my calendar. And it may not be the same each day. Because I know that's actually what I have to do. I can't say, okay, I'm going to do it at the same time every day. It doesn't work for me because my days are very different. But I can look on a Sunday night and I can say, okay, I can take this time and this time and this time, and that's really helpful for me.
Good. I'm going to try that. That may just work.
Yeah. And also try that accountability partner piece. Get somebody that, you know, I think exercise is a great way to do that. Is if you've got an accountability partner where you're holding each other accountable for it.
Yes.
That's a great one. Good.
These are some good ideas. I'm going to work on it. And then within a day, week, 3 months, and a year from now, I'm going to really give that a lot of thought.
Yes. That's a really good way to do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So not seeing any other hands pop up. If you want to add anything else to that, just go ahead and raise your hand up. But just in line with the time that we've got here, I'm going to keep us moving. I want you to be thinking about what type of structure or accountability you're going to use to support you to achieve your goal. I want you to write that down. And what I don't want you guys to do is to give up. I love to look at a couple of different examples of people who could have given up that would have probably impacted our lives in a big sort of a way. Edison failed more than 1,000 times before he invented the light bulb. 1,000 times he failed. That's a lot of times. I mean, I kind of like light bulbs myself. Michael Jordan didn't make the cut of his high school basketball team. That's kind of amazing. Einstein flunked math and was earning a living as a postal worker when he published his theory of relativity. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? So I want you to spend time reconnecting with your why, back to that pain-pleasure question. Remember when you did that, and it was so, when you thought about, if this doesn't change, if nothing shifts in my life, and that what the pain part of that was, and then what the pleasure part of that was, I want you just to really reconnect back to it. And you do that on a regular basis. Do it on a weekly basis if you have to. I don't know how many of you have seen the Amy Cuddy video, the TEDx talk, where she's talking. One of the things she talks about is faking it until you make it. Love that concept. If you're thinking about, you know, if I'm losing weight, I've got a relationship, just keep faking it till you make it. Just keep practicing it, keep believing in it, keep bringing all of you to the table on this. And then you don't have to do this in big, gigantic steps. Take small baby steps. Every week, if you're just taking a few baby steps, it's going to start shifting and moving for you. And if it gets really sticky, and this is what Sarah mentioned earlier, was take a break. Walk away for a few days and then come back to that goal. But know that, you know, you're going to be in this ebb and flow, but keep going back to it, so don't give up on it. What kind of type of support system can you put in place to help you overcome any obstacles? I want you to write that down. What do you need around you so that you can keep, anytime obstacles are showing up for you, what do you need to help you moving forward? So we're about at the end of our time together today. I want to do a few, before I do our concluding exercise with you, I'd like to share a little bit about a couple things I have available to you. Let me pop this down. So how can you ensure you stay on track? Here's something that might be helpful. I have been working with a good partner of mine, Sarah Bonenkamp, and we're going to be launching, starting next week, a monthly microburst of rocket inspiration, time-tested principles and life-changing tools. It's going to be a monthly webinar series called the Syzygy Jam Sessions, Principles of Living the Life You Love. And this is going to be 6 monthly 45-minute Power Booster webinar sessions. So we're going to get once a month. We're going to be digging into life purpose. We're going to be digging into how do you live into that life purpose. We're going to get in how you manage your time, a whole session on managing time, a whole session on keeping track of your life with tools and rules and different ways that you can really bring best practices to your life and how you keep track of your life. We're going to spend a whole session on relationships. We are going to spend a session on listening. And the last session we'll be doing is really around the sustainability of you. In addition to these monthly webinar sessions, you'll get a daily pony pondering daily inspiration. You guys have gotten to experience a little bit of the pony ponderings in the emails that you've been getting the last 2 weeks. These are going to start coming out on a weekly basis for those of you in this program. And then you also get attendance to 3 wisdom teleseminars that I do for my clients throughout the year. And the topics always range, but it's around leadership and personal branding and staying in action. And the investment for this whole series is $658. However, for those of you on this call, if you sign up by Friday with payment in full, it's $495. For those of you who are my clients who have signed up in 2014 in my programs, you are getting this as part of your package. So know that you'll have, this is part of the package that you already belong to. But for those of you who would like to join in this with my clients, this is available to you at this $495 price point. If you sign up by Friday, you just need to use this YBYE or YBYE discount code when you sign up at this link, and you need to do it by Friday in order to get that price. There's also payment options available. So one payment of $218 and 2 payments of $163. So that's one way you can continue to work with me. And if you're really ready to go into a much deeper launch into your life and really want to put a lot of focus on what you're talking about, you can apply to do one of my Yes to You strategy sessions and see if coaching might be a good fit for you. And all I need you to do there is just share with me your life today and what you'd like to change, your decision that you've done here, and your goals in your current role. And I'll pick, I've got a handful of spots that I open up for people every month, and I'll select for anybody interested in this. I'm not going to click through to this here, but if you want to see some of the changes and shifts that a lot of my clients have made in the work that they have done with me, I've got some really wonderful success stories with my customers, so feel free to go out to this link and take a look at it. with that, what I'd really like to do is do a nice closing exercise with you. Bear with me a moment. Okay. So I want you to get comfortable. Put your feet on the ground. And close your eyes and take a deep breath. I want you to think about the area of life you are focusing on. To connect to the decision you made and feel your commitment. Think about the beliefs you currently have or want to develop that will support you in achieving what you want in this area of your life. Think about the goal you set in this area. See yourself achieving this goal. I want you to identify one concrete action you're going to take after this class to keep the momentum going and continue moving forward to achieve the vision you have for yourself in this area. And then I want you to write it down. So take a moment to write it down. And I would love to hear from anyone on what concrete action you're going to take. So just raise your hand.
Unmuted.
I'm unmuting everybody. So what one concrete action might someone take? Don't be shy. So Molly and Susie Davis, both of you are muted down.
All right, Cameron, Debbie.
Okay.
For career.
Whoops, sorry about that. I muted everybody down because it was echoing. So start again.
Oh, no, for the changes that I want to make in my career, I find that it's going to be really, really important for me to create, I wrote down to create my life-changing sanctuary in my home, and that meaning the place that I go to where I work, and all of these ideas will come to me, and because right now I feel like everything in my home is cluttered, and I'm so busy, and I'm going that I don't allow myself enough time to stop in my own 2 feet and kind of let everything sink in.
Yeah.
And so that is what I'm going to do, and that was actually part of my multiple little, what was the 1 day, 1 week, month,
yep.
That whole, yeah. In a day I'm going to clear out the clutter. In a week I'm going to make the office and my workspace. I'm going to rebuild my resume. I was going to change. I was going to write down, completely tear it apart and start over again from scratch. But I thought rebuilding was probably a more positive way to go and say that. And then creating a networking sanctuary as well. So hopefully within those steps, as well as a lot of the personal relationships that I've been trying to focus on and building in recent weeks, then that'll kind of help get the momentum going.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep me in the loop of how it's going.
Absolutely.
Okay. Who else can we hear from? And you could even just share, you know, any final takeaways that as you're leaving. Any final takeaways anybody might like to share? Just raise your hand. Charlotte, can I call on you?
Unmuted.
Charlotte, can I call on you? Hello?
Hello?
How about you, Marion?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, so actions that I will like to take are around opening my heart up and letting go of resistance, so that's a big one. But the concrete ones are more in the action pieces, like answer my emails from eHarmony,
yes.
Join the Colorado Mountain Club, which I've been talking about for about a year, arrange some gatherings and happy hours, and then I just put flirt in there. Because I don't do that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I also put fake it till you make it.
Yeah. 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 And Charlotte, I see you. Thank you so much, Marion. Those are awesome. Those are totally awesome.
Thank
Charlotte,
you.
I see you sent me a note. I can see, but I couldn't hear you. I can unmute you again. Are you there?
Are you there?
Huh. I'm not hearing you. We're getting lots of echo. Okay, I muted you back down. Well, I want to thank everybody for spending time with me and all of us and contributing and being interactive on this for the last couple of weeks. I really appreciate it. I'm wishing you all your best year ever, and you know, just take little steps every week, and you're going to be making it happen. You've started some big steps. You've already started the big movements. I want to finish up today by thanking you and mostly acknowledging you. You had to open up, you had to share, you had to participate and be active. So a big part of my passion and purpose as a coach is really working with people to create and live their best life. So I couldn't do it without people like you. So thank you so much. I want you to acknowledge you for investing the time and the energy to participate. And it really demonstrates that you're the type of person who is truly committed to your own growth, development, and success. It's been a pleasure, and I would be an honor to connect with you on a one-to-one strategy session if that's something you're interested in. And if you're interested in signing up for the jam sessions that we're going to be starting next week, I would love to have you join us as well. So thanks again, and I look forward to staying in touch and being of service to each and every one of you. And here's to you and to your best year ever.